Hey everyone, we're here at Thrive Well podcast with an amazing realtor, professional realtor, Brandy Baker. There she is. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
All right, Brandy, tell us a little bit about you. Like, where were you before real estate? What had you choose real estate? Talk to us about that.
So I was in the restaurant industry for many years, probably too many years. But it was great customer service training.
Okay.
And when I bought my house, it wasn't like any shame to my realtor. But when I bought my house, I said, like, I want like these 5 things. And they were like, nope, not at your price point. Like, you'll never find that.
Oh, gosh.
And I was like, all right, dang. I mean, I was, sad. I was like, all right, I guess so. So we looked at some houses. I saw 22 houses total. The house that I'm in, I found the house online, probably Zillow.
Probably.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
And I sent it over and was like, hey, I think this checks all my boxes. And we went and looked at it, and it was the house. And it was in my price point. And I got it for less than what I was approved for. So I was like, hey, you know what? And I just felt like I could do that. I could help people find it. It's because I really believed, because he had said originally, like, you may not get this in your price point. It's unlikely that you'll get this. Then I thought I could probably help people get what they think they can't. And my dad used to do real estate when I was a kid, and I like doing his paperwork, which is love paperwork, love it. So I thought, all right, I'll try this. And I took the class, passed the exam fairly, like, on the first try, real quick.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like such an ease into
Like it's
it.
all so simple.
It just lined up right.
Yes.
And then it was 2020. So it wasn't too hard.
Yeah.
For me to
raining
take
real
off.
estate. You're
Yeah.
like, look at me.
Yeah, I was like, this is going very well. And I just thought, I've made all the right choices.
Yes. You're like, I am winning.
I was
and you
winning.
were.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's how I got into it.
That's how you got into it. Is your dad still in real estate?
No. He sold all of his rental properties still when I was probably like in high school. He got out of it. Yeah.
Do you aspire to acquire rentals and do that whole same bit, or you're just...
I aspire to flip.
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah.
There was, in the real estate course, the instructor at the time said, I know you guys hear about like renting and like that's so great, but if you cannot put like a single mom out in the middle of winter, you cannot be a landlord. And I was like, all right, well, I cannot be a landlord.
It is tough biz.
Because I'll just be like, oh, I mean, you know what, guys? I got you.
Worry.
Don't you worry about it. You want to stay? No problem. Bring your friends.
You have 4 dogs?
No problem.
It is fine.
I do
it's
like
fine.
dogs.
Yes.
So, yeah. So I would flip.
Okay.
I just don't have the heart.
Yeah, it's tough. It is tough. Property management is hard. Yeah. That's why most people outsource that, right? It's like they just can't do that part of it. I will acquire, I will maintain, but you do the whole chasing the money down.
Yeah.
That whole thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what brought you here. Now, what would you say today, working with the clients that you've been working with, what is it that you're able to help guide them through where they're shouting Brandy's name from the rooftop?
I love that. They do.
They
there
do.
A rooftop?
They do.
On their rooftop.
Yes, they do. They do.
So I would say at least 40% of my business is first-time home buyers. And they always come thinking, I cannot buy. It's just impossible for me. Do you think I can buy?
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, and I'm like,
you're attracting that. You said this is why you're here.
It's 100%.
Yeah.
So that is really like it's just driving force of being able to help someone do something that they didn't think they could do. And it's a lot of legal paperwork, so they don't understand.
Yeah.
To be able to like guide someone to have them trust you I take that like very seriously, that I am going to get you through this from start to finish. I don't have a lot of hesitation on showing houses or having a hard conversation about what houses we're going to go see. I think sometimes people need to hear that. And that goes for all buyers, all my clients, all across the board. If it's so far out of the price point, or if it's checking zero, maybe one of your 20 boxes, what are we doing?
Right.
You're going to fall, if it's out of your price point, you're going to fall in love with the house you can't afford. If it doesn't check your boxes, you've just driven out here for nothing.
Right. This is an HGTV.
Yeah. Why did you didn't want to see this house?
Exactly.
So I think just having I'm good at having tough conversations, making sure everyone remains calm when behind the scenes it may not be so calm. Because buying a house should be a fun thing. It should be exciting.
Yeah.
Yes, it's stressful because it's a large purchase, as all large purchases are. Buying a car isn't the easiest, but when people go in to buy a car, they're always skeptical. So I like to make sure that you feel open to ask me all the questions and talk to me and tell me your truth. Feel free to spill it on me. So then I can understand what we're really dealing with.
Yeah,
and
so
I
you
think
can really help them.
So I can really help them. And I think that's what my clients love about me so much.
I love that. Now, you said you're specializing right now, particularly in that first-time home buyer, which is fantastic because those are the exact folks that lost out on so much the last 3 years. It just was an unfair playing field for them. What are you finding is most challenging for them right now to get up and running and get into the marketplace and buy the home?
I think that people are starting too late in the game. So if you want to buy a house, and this also, again, so not just for first-time home buyers, for everyone across the board, when you want to buy a house, you cannot start when your lease is about to be up in a month or 2 months. I would say minimum, you should be looking at houses. So already had a consultation with a realtor, already have had spoken to a lender for pre-approval. 4 months, at that 4-month mark is when you start, because the market is competitive and you're going up against other people who also have buying power. You need to put your best foot forward. If you get into a house, let's say your lease is up or you need to be out of that particular home in the next 4 months. You get under contract in month 4, leave some wiggle room for close, and what if they need occupancy? And then you're fine. But I find that people come and they're like, I got to be out of my place in 2 months. Can you help me? I can help you get into a place. I cannot guarantee it will be 2 months. You've spoken to no one. You don't know what you can afford. Because sometimes when you talk to a lender, and people are hesitant to talk to a lender, I don't want them to have all my information.
Right.
They don't need to know my money. They do. They absolutely need to know what kind of money you're dealing with.
Exactly what they need to know.
That's all they're there for.
Yes.
So they need to know what you're working with because they can. If you don't have it, they can tell you go get it.
Yes.
If your credit's not great, but you have all the money, they can tell you how to fix the credit. And those things take time.
Yes.
So you have to start. I mean, minimum 4 months. I would say strongly suggest 6 months in advance.
Yeah. And I think that's great advice because the more time people have, the more ability they have to get comfortable with making bigger decisions. So that makes complete sense to me. But the person that comes and they're like, hey, Brandy, I got to get out of here within the next 2 months and into there in the next 2 months. Yes, this is possible. And it requires you do everything I say when I say, and we don't play around.
No playing around.
That means you can't play around with the lender and not wanting to give the paperwork over there and not wanting to talk finances. That's absolute. We can't go look at 22 homes. We're going to look at 3 and we're going to make some big decisions swiftly.
Absolutely.
And that's what that will look like. I think it's all about setting those expectations up front.
Yeah.
And if we're being honest, how often does a client come with, hey, I got 6 months. Let's figure this out in maybe 6 to 12 months, Brandy. I've got all the time. Most people don't, right? They get a thought, they start looking by themselves, and then it starts to percolate. And then they're like, I'm serious. I want to go buy this house, this one that I saw on Zillow, and I don't know if I can afford it, but I'm going to call Brandy right now.
Right.
That's usually how it happens, right? Is they're just triggered by something, some event that says, let's move. And then they start looking and then they're ready. Yeah. And we got to navigate through that. So I like that advice. Anyone listening right now, buyers out there, if you know in your foreseeable future this year. So if you're looking at the calendar and you're saying, hey, between October 23 and October 24, I want to buy a home. Start now. Start now with the process. Reach out to Brandy, reach out to the lender that she's going to move you towards, and then get moving towards what that would look like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love it. All right. So when it comes to your work in real estate, obviously it sounds like your most favorite part is helping the folks that believe they cannot purchase realize that that dream can come true and be an absolute reality. Outside of that, what brings you the most joy as you are moving through the process of real estate with people?
Negotiations. They're so much fun. I mean, I think if you don't like to negotiate, you don't like to do real estate, I would say. Communicating with other agents, finding out that it takes mostly confidence to get your client what they want. It's just been fun. It's always been fun. I'm not even saying like we have to lowball, none of that. But people think price is always the most important. But if you consider concessions, seller concessions for a buyer to save that money and then be able to put that work into your house with that money you didn't use towards your down payment, it's wonderful.
Yes.
You have to consider, and I know all of that, and I know how to put together a great offer. I know how to call that agent, build a relationship so that when our offer comes through, they remember me, they love me, and we might just get through. I beat out 2 cash offers on a $500,000 home, over $500,000.
Okay.
2 cash offers by $10,000.
What do you think caused that?
She let me know it was because of my communication. I called her ahead of time, let her know we're getting that offer in. Video messages.
Yeah.
Video messages are always great. Put a face to the name. And then follow up. Before they accept another offer, just let them know we are so solid. I also had the lender reach out to let them know how solid they were because they could close. This lender got them closed, I think, in like 2.5 weeks.
Okay.
And like kind of guaranteed that.
Okay.
So use your tools. I have resources. I have lenders. I have inspectors. Like use all those resources to show this is going to be such an easy transaction for you if you work with me.
Beautiful. And I think that's important for buyers out there to hear. It does matter who you choose to work with. There is a difference between a licensed agent and a professional agent. Professional agents have resources, have tools, are keen on the skills it takes to negotiate and put together great offers, to process a deal, to understand the legal paperwork. These are all things that a licensed agent doesn't have. When you're just simply licensed and you're not affiliated with that kind of stuff, you have a lot less skin in the game, right? Like if you're as a licensed agent versus professional, you just don't have as much skin in the game. And that is exactly what it is. It's knowing how to navigate the chess that we're playing out there with real estate. It's who you know, it's what you know, it's how you use it at the end.
And as a professional agent, I need long-term business. I'm not in it for the next couple of years. This is my career. As a licensed agent, it was very easy to get licensed, as we mentioned.
Exactly.
And it was rain in real estate.
Yes.
Anybody could sell a house. Anybody could buy a house.
Yes.
Nowadays, not so much. And I've heard it. I've felt it in the market with buyers. I've heard it from sellers. A lot of people are not selling because they know they still have to buy.
Right.
But having a professional on your side with all those tools, with all those resources, is going to be so much better for you in the long run. And then you might refer me another great client because that's what I need. So I'm going to give you my best so that you can continue to come back to me.
Yes. I love that. For lifetime. For sellers, what are some effective strategies that you use to maximize their value and get them what they're looking for?
Pricing is important. We cannot overprice because then we're just shutting out people who may actually want to buy this house. And if you price too low, everyone's going to think something's wrong with the house.
Sure.
So right in the middle, the sweet spot. So having awareness of what the comparables are in the area up to the moment that you are about to list that house. So if you have a listing appointment a month ago, I'm going to redo those comps. Also marketing. And so I love Thrive because we're forward thinking in our marketing. We are all over social media, in all the avenues that work, Instagram, a lot of, I have my own TikTok. So I think marketing is super pertinent and important to getting the word out about that home. And then I would say probably cold call, well, I guess it is cold calling. So we call it circle prospecting.
Right.
But I'm going to call that neighborhood that I'm selling that house in, find out if anybody knows of anybody they want to be their neighbor. Joke it up with folks.
Yeah.
Build
Joke it up.
Yeah. Not crack a couple over the head. And then for the open house, you've already you've already created a relationship through those phone calls with people. Now they come, they see you, they're even happier because I'm adorable, and that, I think, just for sellers, that's going to what my goal is, to get you many offers and let them fight over it.
Yes, I love that. So maximizing exposure, creating opportunity through off-market seeking, which is what we're talking about when we say cold calling, reaching out to your neighbors, because we know as professionals that your neighbors are nosy.
Yeah.
Just like, think about yourself right now, sitting in your home. Maybe you're listening to this podcast and you see a neighbor outside. What is the first thing we do? We go peer through our window. What are they doing? Right? Like, as if it's that unique. They're probably taking their garbage out yes. But we always go and look, we're nosy. We want to know. So this is one of our strategies in being able to say, hey, we know you want to know. I'm calling to share all the information about Tim and Susie's house being on the market. And who better than you to choose your new neighbor? Exactly. That's the stuff.
I would choose all my neighbors.
Yeah.
Just
if you could.
Neighborhood of all my friends.
All your friends.
Yeah.
That's like
we
a
never
compound.
have to go out. We never have to hang out.
Yeah.
Everybody can go to bed.
It's your village.
Oh, I love it.
It's a dream. I love it too. I would do that in a heartbeat. I try and convince Ryan all the time to build a tiny house on my second lot. I'm like, you just live there.
Can do it.
Then build another one for our other friends. And okay, so if there are potentially buyers listening right now and they're wondering, okay, so Brandy, I don't have 4 months and maybe I only have 2 months and I am nervous about sharing my finances. What would be their first step?
Make the call, talk to me. I'm going to put you with someone that I trust. And I think if you are open-minded enough to have a conversation with me about it, you would be willing to then also have a conversation with my preferred lender. And the thing about my preferred lenders are they are going to answer the phone for me. That's why I prefer them. They're going to be communicating with me. Everything's confidential on their end between us three as our trifecta. But yeah, I would say if you're hesitant, become a little more open-minded and let's just talk. The worst that can happen is this one stranger who you've never met may know a little bit more about you and you may never see them. If you don't use them, you may never see them again in life. So they won't know. It's fine.
Yep. No worries. No worries. So just reach out. First step is just reach out, have a candid conversation, what you need, what you're looking for. Brandy will walk you through it.
And like I'm going to set those expectations at our buyer consultation or just our first phone call is if you need to move that quickly, you must trust me. If there's going to be hesitation on that, it's going to slow you down.
Yeah. Have you ever been in a position, maybe there's agents listening to this podcast. Have you ever been in a position where you're in a conversation with a potential buyer, potential seller, and you realize, you know what, I'm not certain I'm the right professional for you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All business isn't good business. It depends on how much I wouldn't say stress, but sometimes we just don't click. And before we get too far or before we go in the wrong direction, let's not go down that road.
Right.
If there's any sort of hostility, you obviously don't want to work with me, and I'm not going to force you to.
Right.
What I will do is refer you out.
Yes.
Because I have great agents.
You have a great network.
I have a great network, and I know personalities. I'm very good at matching those up. So if our personalities don't click, which is very rare because I am versatile. But if our personality, but it happens, right? If our personalities don't click, I know someone. I'm in a brokerage full of wonderful agents, and I guarantee you I can match you with one of them, and you will love your experience from start to finish.
Yeah. I like that attitude. I've been talking to a lot of agents today, and it was something that continued to come up on repeat was this integrity point of, I'm not desperate for clients, even though, of course, do I want more business? Do I want to help people buy more homes and sell more homes? Yes. And my sanity is the result of doing those things together. That's most important for all. Like, if we're not jiving, I'm not going to get you the best outcome because of what you just said. You said, you got to trust me. And that's something that's got to be earned fairly quickly in our business. And so if you can't get there quickly, then, it's going to be a rocky road the whole time. And the outcome's going to be probably less than par.
Yeah. You're not wrong. You cannot be desperate for business, because then you become an agent that's chasing a commission check. And no one likes that. You're now just the salesman. You're
commission breath.
You're all those words that we hate. We need to get along. This needs to work for you as well as it works for me.
Yeah.
Because I care about you as well, because you're going to be the client that I'm trying to create a lifelong relationship with.
Right.
If we don't like each other now, we don't need to invest.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not trying to become best friends, but we've got to have a rapport that makes sense. Exactly. I agree completely. Okay. So for any agents out there that are just getting into the business, or let's say they started in 2020, 21, and it was raining real estate, and they're like, God, I'm just the best agent. And now they're not feeling so best because the game has changed.
Yes.
Which means the moves need to change and the way that you go about playing the game changes. We're talking about the marketplace here, so no surprise. It requires different tasks, would you say?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what would be your best advice to somebody? Because just like you got into it when you're like, gosh, this seems so easy. Lickety split, got my license, boom, raining real estate. This is working out for me. And then it changed. So how would you help someone navigate through that and understand what they should be doing right now?
If your business is not where you want it to be, I would say take an evening to sit down and reevaluate what is working for you and what isn't working for you. If cold calling is absolutely just not working for you, then start reaching out to everyone in your sphere. They will have friends. When I slowed down a little, I needed to reevaluate my business. And what I realized is that I needed to be on a team. I started as a solo agent with really no direction. But again, real estate wasn't that hard at the time. People were like, please, give me house.
Give me the paperwork.
Help now.
Yes.
I was like, sure, no problem. I got you. But I realized I need a team. I need training. I need support. I need someone I can ask questions readily and get an answer very quickly. So I started re-interviewing brokerages and found Thrive, and it's been nothing but greatness since. But you have to reevaluate your business.
Yeah.
So right now for me, it's the training, having an office to go to, and other agents to ask, open door policy with our broker and yourself. That has been key, as well as the conversations. There's never, I don't know why I didn't think just making phone calls would have been helpful when I was a solo agent. I really sat there and thought people were going to call me. I mean, a few did, but I just thought it'd be more. I was like, oh, yeah, no one called me today. That's strange. And when I came here, they were like, hey, why don't you reach out to your sphere? I sold very quickly, so many. And I was like, oh gosh, that was don't know why that didn't.
Light bulb moment.
Just
You didn't know what you didn't know.
You didn't
Yes.
know. But it's so simple. So I would say reevaluate the business and see what's working for you and what's not. I can't tell you something that's not working for me because all of it is action packed. I guess maybe advertising on Facebook doesn't give me that much, but Instagram does. So I'll post all over social media, whichever one hits. And focus on those areas. You have to have conversations about real estate to do real estate.
Yes, I like it. You said something that I think is really important is action. You use the word action in there. the action economy that you have around the right tasks will make all the difference this year, moving into 2024. Taking action constantly around the right things is what will differentiate you from the licensed agent that came in 2020 and then drops out, and the professional agent that just continues to persevere. So thank you for sharing that. I think people found a ton of value in it. So Brandy, if people want to learn more about how to purchase a home, how to sell a home, what tips you have and strategies to get that process started, how can they get at you?
You can check out my social media. Instagram is going to be the easiest because it has my link tree on there, and that's at bbknows_realtor. You should check out my TikTok for fun. It's hilarious. And always, you can call me at 248-219-7386.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.